August 23rd, 1514, a valley in northwestern Iran. Two armies face each other across an open plain. On one side, Shah Ismail I of Persia, undefeated in battle, worshipped by his soldiers as a living god, commander of the most feared cavalry force in the Islamic world. On the other side, Selim the Grim, 100,000 Ottoman soldiers, 300 cannons, and a burning desire to settle this rivalry forever. By sunset, the world would never be the same. This is the Battle of Chaldiran, the day that drew the borders of the modern Middle East. To understand Chaldiran, you need to understand what was at stake between these two empires. This was not simply a territorial dispute. It was a religious war, fraught over the soul of the Islamic world. The Ottoman Empire was Sunni, the Safavid Empire under Shah Ismail was Shia, and Ismail was not content to keep his faith within his own borders. He was actively sending missionaries deep into Ottoman Anatolia, converting Turkish tribes, funding rebellions, and destabilizing Ottoman authority from within. Selim had watched this for years. When he came to power in 1512, he moved immediately. He ordered thousands of Shia sympathizers inside Ottoman territory to be arrested and executed. He sent Shah Ismail a series of increasingly provocative letters, challenging him to face the Ottoman army in open battle. Ismail, for his part, refused to be intimidated. He sent Selim a gift in return, a box containing opium. The message was clear. He thought Selim was delusional. That was a mistake. In the spring of 1514, Selim personally led over 100,000 soldiers east into Safavid territory. It was one of the largest military campaigns the Ottoman Empire had ever launched. Ismail knew he could not match Ottoman firepower directly, so he chose a different strategy: scorched earth. As the Ottoman army marched east, they found nothing. Crops burned, villages emptied, wells poisoned. The Safavids retreated before them, destroying everything that could feed or supply an army. The Ottoman soldiers began to crack. They were exhausted from months of marching through the brutal Armenian highlands. Supplies grew desperately low. The Janissaries grew so frustrated that at one point they actually fired their muskets at Selim's own tent in protest. Any other sultan might have turned back. Selim pressed forward. Ismail faced a choice: continue retreating and watch his own reputation collapse, or stand and fight. His two most experienced commanders advised against open battle. They had seen Ottoman artillery in action and knew what it could do against cavalry. Ismail overruled them. He would fight. He had never lost a battle in his life. He did not believe today would be different. On the morning of August 23rd, 1514, the two armies faced each other on the plains of Chaldiran. Selim deployed his forces in a formation perfected against European armies. At the center, 300 cannons and Janissary musketeers positioned behind a barrier of wagons chained together, a defensive wall of firepower designed to absorb any cavalry charge and then destroy it. The Safavids had no artillery. Their entire army was cavalry, the legendary Qizilbash warriors, dressed in the finest armor, armed with swords, lances, and bows. They were magnificent soldiers. Against muskets and cannons, they were about to become targets. The Safavids attacked the Ottoman flanks first, trying to avoid the artillery at the center. For a moment, it worked. The battle hung in the balance. Then the Ottoman center unleashed. The artillery was not stationary, it was maneuverable. As the Safavid cavalry rode directly into a wall of simultaneous cannon fire and musket volleys, horses and riders were cut down in hundreds. The ground shook. The smoke was so thick that commanders could not see across the battlefield. Shah Ismail himself charged into the Ottoman lines. He was wounded, His horse was killed beneath him. His bodyguards dragged him from the field. The Safavid army collapsed. By the end of the day, Selim had won the most decisive military victory of his reign. Selim captured Tabriz, the Safavid capital, just 13 days after the battle. He held it for 8 days before supply problems and approaching winter forced a withdrawal. He could not destroy the Safavid state entirely, but he had broken it. Shah Ismail was never the same man again. Historical accounts describe him spending his remaining years in near total isolation, drinking heavily, rarely leaving his palace, never fighting another battle. He had been worshipped as invincible. Chaldiran shattered that myth permanently. The consequences of this single battle still shape our world today. The border between modern Turkey and Iran, that line exists because of Chaldiran. Those territorial divisions became the borders of modern nation-states. The Sunni-Shia divide across the Middle East, Chaldiran determined which regions stayed Sunni under Ottoman rule and which became Shia under Safavid influence. The sectarian map of the modern Middle East was drawn in blood on that plain in 1514. And for Selim, Chaldiran was just the beginning. With his eastern flank secured, he turned south. Egypt, the Mamluks, the Caliphate, all of it became possible because of what happened here. Today, Chaldiran is a small, quiet town in northwestern Iran near the Turkish border. You can drive through it in minutes. There is no grand monument, no museum worthy of the moment, just plains and mountains and the memory of a day when the world changed. 500 years later, the borders Chaldiran created still stand. The sectarian divisions it hardened still shape conflicts happening right now across the Middle East. One battle, one day, 5 centuries of consequences. If history moves you, subscribe to the Crimson Standard. Next episode, Selim turns south, the Mamluk Sultanate falls, and one man claims the caliphate of the entire Islamic world.